death. We don't talk about death. We talk about diets, about business, about aging gracefully. We talk about success, productivity, morning routines. We talk about how to live longer, but not how to live better. And yet, death waits quietly behind every moment, not as a villain, but as the most honest teacher we've ever had. We run from death, distract ourselves from it, try to outsmart it with diets and biohacks. But deep down we know the very fact that this life ends is exactly what makes it precious. And perhaps the fear we feel toward death isn't really fear at all. It's awe. We've been taught that death is the ultimate failure, the breakdown, the error, the glitch in the system, something to avoid, delay, ignore at all costs. But what if death is not the enemy? What if it's the mirror? Because nothing reveals the truth like death. It strips away the nonsense, the noise, the ego, and leaves only what matters. Think about it. When someone gets a terminal diagnosis, suddenly they see life clearly. The job doesn't matter as much, nor does the car or the status, or what their neighbors think. What matters is who they love, what they've given, whether they've lived with any honesty. It's not that death changes life, it reveals it. We live in a deathless culture. Everything is designed to pretend we'll live forever. Anti-aging creams, wellness routines, endless productivity. As if you can earn mortality by staying busy enough. We built a society where death is hidden. Hospitals sterilize it. Cemeteries fence it off. Even funerals feel like polite inconveniences. But all this hiding has a cost. Because the less we acknowledge death, the more afraid of it we become. And the more afraid we are, the more we cling to shallow pleasures to numb that fear. More distractions, more consumption, more pretending. But pretending doesn't protect us. It just delays the inevitable realization that everything we are, everything we love, will one day be gone. And that's not a curse. That's the truth. Here's the paradox. The very thing we fear, death, is the same thing that gives life its meaning. Imagine a sunset that never ended. Would you bother watching? Imagine a song that played forever. would it still be music or just noise? What makes something beautiful is that it ends. What makes this life beautiful is that it slips through your fingers no matter how tightly you try to hold it. Impermanence is not the enemy. It is the brushstroke that gives the painting its shape. Flowers bloom and die. Seasons shift. Your face changes, your hands wrinkle. And instead of mourning this, we could bow to it. Because impermanence is what gives each moment its sacredness. The fact that this breath, this sunrise, this laugh, this touch will never come again. If you truly understood that you will die, what would you stop doing right now? And what would you finally start? You see, death isn't telling you to panic. It's telling you to pay attention. The awareness of death is not a burden. It's a compass. It shows you what matters. It reminds you that time is not a guarantee, that someday isn't a plan, and that later is often too late. It's death that teaches you to say, I love you, when it counts. To forgive when the ego resists. To be kind when it's inconvenient. To show up when it's uncomfortable. Because one day, you won't get that chance again. And strangely enough, that's what makes life rich. Not its permanence, but its fragility. So, why do we fear death? On the surface, we say it's about pain or loss. But deeper down, what we really fear is disappearance. The ego, the part of you that wants to be special, remembered, praised, cannot imagine not existing. It clings to the idea that you are a separate, solid, permanent identity. But you are not. You are a process, a flame, not a statue. Always moving, always changing. Never quite the same twice. And in the same way a wave rises and falls, you too will come and go. But the ocean remains. And perhaps that's the great lesson, that you are not the wave, but the ocean pretending to be a person for a little while. Death, then, is not disappearance. It is return. So, what is death, really? It is not the opposite of life. It is a part of it. A sacred bookend. A closing chapter. To live without acknowledging death is to skim the surface of existence. But to look death in the eye, to accept it, even embrace it, is to finally be free. Free to love without reservation, to live without delay, to speak the truth, to laugh louder, to forgive faster, to stop waiting for the perfect moment and just begin. So, no, death is not the villain. It is the quiet teacher we avoid. the one pointing gently but firmly to what really matters. And if you listen, it will not make you sad. It will make you awake.